Next up, I'm going to show you how to put cameras and create an animation fly through. Yeah, so let's put some cameras inside, outside, and create an external fly through and maybe an internal fly through as well. So we are going to work with cameras essentially, which is this tab. But we don't need this, we can close this and go to ground floor plan and go to more, and under more go to camera tool, camera settings button here, where basically your basic settings like camera height, at what height is the camera targeted. So this is different than this is the location of the camera from the ground, whereas this is the target where it's going to target, the height of the target from this. Distance from the object, azimuth is essentially the angle with the sun. This is in plan, the angle that you have camera with the object. Then altitude, this is the sun angle, where you want the sun to be located. You're doing a afternoon shot like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, then it's going to be overhead, or if it's in the evening, then it's going to be more inclined. And this is the azimuth of the sun. This is the azimuth of the camera. Essentially that's about it, and you need to create a new camera path, which you don't have to create inside here. It gets created automatically as soon as you put a camera, so you don't have to go into settings tab. You just need to actually click inside of the plan interface, click 2 points, just 2 points. So first is the location of camera, and second is the target, the direction of the target. So this is a camera board. As soon as you put a camera, that camera is seen under 3D, and it creates a path called as untitled path, and the camera has been located. If you click on the camera here, it shows you the camera here. So what you need to do is, the camera angle is not right, you need to orbit around properly so that it's right, and then just hover back on this camera icon and just say update, modify this camera to current. Okay, then you can navigate, come on the sides, click on this untitled path and say save current projection. It has created another camera at this location. I'll create a third one, then I'll zoom into the air, create the fourth one, the fifth one way out in distance. Okay, and I can name this path as external path, external, and this has all the cameras 1 to 5 here. Okay, and so now you can quickly toggle between these cameras. So this is a quick way to navigate between cameras also, right? And anytime you want to change the camera angle slightly, change it, come back to that camera and just say modify this camera to current. And you want to create a movie out of this camera. From the ground floor, what you would see is, you would see a series of cameras which are connected by a path. Now the path is getting a very acute sharpness here, so you might want to change that slightly. So how we might want to change it by simply changing these points. Why we are doing this is so that we get a very smooth transition when we do a fly through. So we need to move this camera a little behind so that we can smoothen out the path a little bit, right? And I would like to look at this camera, which is 1, 2, 3, 4th camera. How is it? It's fine. Right, so we have the camera seen in the ground floor plan here. To create a movie out of this, just go to file. In fact, we go to document, and this is another place where to find your render settings and render options. So go to creative imaging, documents, creative imaging, photo render settings and photo render projection. These are the options which we found under that toolbar which we had earlier, 3D visualization. Now we are going to use create fly through, and here we are supposed to select, make sure your external path is selected here. 3D window, there's an option to save a 3D window and photo rendering window. Now, photo rendering window, it's going to render, like if you remember how we did a photo render of that image, it's going to render each and every image between first camera and last camera. It's not just 5 images, it's a series of images here. Depends upon what frames we are using. So if you are saying, let's say 41 frames are there between this point to this point, and each of this image will be rendered with that much of time, maybe 10 minutes each, 5 minutes each, and it's going to really take longer, but it's going to make a very photographic quality video. But we don't want that. We want a normal 3D window like how we are able to see it here inside of this interface. And so we use 3D window, we use MP4, right? And that's about it. All frames, keep it to default settings and just say, you can either say save or you can say show. So will only show you in this interface, whereas save, it will save inside the frame rate. Okay, so it's going to take very long time, but let me just give it a try. So you can see now it's creating intermediate images between the first and the last camera, and the animation is not really smooth because we might have done some weird kind of settings in the path, or the heights might have varied, camera heights and other things. So we have to be accurate in that respect, and I think I have already saved this under documents. So let's see where it is. House MP4. Let's see how it looks like. I can be pretty sure it won't be very smooth. I told you it won't be very smooth. So it jumps quite a bit. So it's an advanced thing. You need to actually tweak quite a lot of things for the cameras. So if I go to camera settings and double clicking, you need to actually go between this first camera to fifth camera, and if you can see, a lot of these things are changing. So you need to play around with this and make sure many of these values are consistent and they're uniform, but certain values will change because of the distances and target heights and all that. But this is a thing you need to spend more time and master different settings in this, inside this. Okay, now just like how you created an external animation, you can create an internal animation also. You can create a new camera path here called internal, right? There are no cameras here at the moment, and see as soon as this changed from external to internal, the external path is hidden. Yeah, and if you want to put some cameras here, now you can put some cameras inside of this. So I put one, put second, third, fourth I can put here, fifth one I can go to first story and put it on the stairs, and then on the mezzanine. So a lot of cameras that I put already, and all of those cameras will be seen under internal now. So this is a separate path, and if I click on camera, it's not quite right. So we need to actually, it's supposed to be somewhere at the door here, looking inside the space. So I need to update it. Second camera. So this is done. Second camera again is on top, so we need to get inside. and place it according to how we wanted it. And so probably we wanted it this way. We save it, modify this camera, then we go to camera 3, and probably it was, I don't remember, let's look at it in the plan. So camera 3 is here, and what heights does it have? Distance, camera height, azimuth. So if you look at this, we can go down inside. I think it's so, but you got the point essentially how we modify this. So you can keep modifying this. And fourth camera, so all have gone above roof, so I think the fourth camera is near the staircase, somewhere here, like so. So I'm orbiting around, and so just modify this camera. So likewise, just modify all the cameras, and you want to create an animation for the internal path. You just go to documents, creative imaging, surface fly-through, and make sure internal is selected here. And this would change whatever is seen here. So if I change this to external, and if I go to document, creative imaging, create fly through, this will show as external. If I change this to internal, then that would change to internal. So that's how you change things, like how you modify the cameras and save the paths, and then create walkthroughs. And sometimes you don't want to see this path, so you can actually hide it. You can right click and say camera settings and path, and display options none, so it won't show any cameras. If you want to show the displays, the cameras, then simply go to, you can display only the cameras, you can display camera and paths as well. Okay, so that's about it. That's about the cameras and creating fly-throughs and stuff.